When I was a girl, there was only one television in the house, and my father was always watching it. And so me and my brother entertained ourselves by using our imaginations and listening to the radio. Music became our solace and our escape from life, and we milked it for all it was worth. We fell in love with pop music, rap, R&B, even country. There was one form of music that I couldn't stand, however, and that was classical music. Whenever I would hear its somber, plodding melody, it just made me think of a funeral, and I found it boring. My dad, as if taking the TV wasn't enough, loved classical music. He would loudly blast it in the house and use it to wake us up because he said there was nothing like a little Beethoven in the morning. It drove us mad, until one day we voiced our grievances to him. He didn't really listen. The next day, when our butts had cooled and he told us to be ready in the evening, he had done some thinking and maybe he had been too harsh on us. To make up for the whooping he gave us, he decided he would take us to a concert. We got all excited because we knew it would be great. We were going to party our heads off. We were picturing this, instead we got this. When I saw the lone violinist on stage in front of an orchestra, me and my brother groaned. This was going to be as aggravating as home. Then something happened. The violinist began to play, and so did the orchestra. I was astonished. It was a melody I recognized. It was a lullaby that my mother sang to me as a kid. Only its familiar, warm, and comforting melody was now amplified and brought to life by 20 musicians. It became sweeping, grand, epic, and infinitely more moving. Then the orchestra played something else I recognized from the movie Batman. Listening to it took me back. The orchestra continued playing things that I had heard before, and I began to hum along. Finally, I looked at my watch. 2 hours had passed, and it was time to go home. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to hear more, but my father, with a knowing smile on his face, led me away. I asked if there was a way we could get a recording of the concert. He looked at me and smiled. "I have all that music at home already," he said. It then began to dawn on me that as much as I hated classical music before, I had been listening to it my whole life. I asked my father if we could look through his stash, and he let us. This is how my perspective on music changed. I realized that a 10-piece orchestra could tell a story and let us into another world just like a turntable and microphone. A violin melody can be just as rich and powerful and relevant as a guitar riff. From then on, I began to listen to classical music with interest. Don't get me wrong, I didn't become an aficionado or anything, but instead of just writing a piece of music because it has a violin, I began to listen and learn.